All right, here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Little Steps Live. We have a very exciting Facebook Live today. And one just quick announcement is that this is the first time that we're streaming on Instagram as well. So it's a bit of a test. So do let us know your feedback on that. But we are live on Facebook as well as Instagram right now. So just a quick introduction before we get started with our guest today, who you can see is right next to me, all the way from Belgium. So hello, Bear. Going to do a quick introduction, and then I'll introduce you and get started on our interview. So just a few reminders on Little Steps Live. We go live times a month. It has been quite busy lately, mainly because a lot of people have been at home and looking for more online content. So we have been doing covering lots of content pieces that are relevant to what's happening right now in people's lives. And we thought that this topic today would benefit both families as well as children going back to school, those doing homeschooling. We are going to be talking all about mindfulness and meditation, how it can benefit both children as well as the whole family, and very special session as well, exclusively for Little Steps from Bear himself. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get you introduced over here. So the topic today, meditation, these have all been very hot topics as of recently, especially lately. I think in terms of the journey that people take and their understanding of what it is. So one of the things that we wanted to do today is invite somebody that has their own journey, but also shares it with kids and families all over the world. Please welcome Bear Raeymaekers. Am I saying your last name right, Bear? Good.
That's okay.
It's okay. Welcome you to Little Steps Live. And yeah, just before we get started, maybe you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and how you got here.
Great. Well, first of all, from my heart to yours and to everyone, I'm thanking you for having me. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Well, let me go back a few years. Around 2015, I was in hotel business, and I had a very high demanded job, running around for other people in the end. And I had a tendency to forget myself, right? Because we have this tendency to go on automatic pilots. So I was wondering how I could reconnect within myself a little bit. You know, there was something that triggered me, why I'm here in this world and what is my purpose and who am I, right? This is the most important question. Who am I? But where do you start? It's very difficult sometimes. So I took myself a gap year, and that's why I started traveling to Asia. And I ended up in Bali the first time. But the first really connection with mindfulness of meditation was not really the word mindfulness of meditation, but what's the word stillness.
Mm.
So somebody was saying, maybe you should go in silence. And at the time I was not really, I really didn't understand what do you mean by silence, Silence is, in these days, silence is very rare. So that's how I reconnected or went to the monastery in the end, in Thailand, in Chiang Mai, where I initially wanted to go in for a 10-day retreat, a silent retreat. However, the monk has been keeping me there for a few weeks and almost a month, and that's the first really connection with mindfulness and meditation, how I got really a taste of silence, really.
So Bear, I have a question. I think there's definitely a strong interest from so many people. They want to get into mindfulness meditation, and we're going to break it down a little bit because I think there is a bit of confusion between, what is mindfulness, what is wellness, what is meditation. But before we do you find that I think some people kind of gravitate to it when there's some sort of crisis, some sort of thing that's happened in their lives, and they're like, I need to understand this. While other people want to bring it into their lives more on a kind of, they want to better themselves, and there might not be a crisis. There might just be something that they want to kind of dive into. How do you typically see people kind of moving in that direction?
Well, it's interesting that you use the word crisis, because if you go to the Chinese translation of crisis, you will see that it also means opportunity.
Yes, yeah, I like that.
So every one of us at a certain point in time will come on a crossroad, right? And if it is to develop themselves a little bit further, or like to have more depth in their life on one side, and other people are coming, like in my case, I was working very hard. I was in my 30s and I was saying, is this life? You know what I mean? So I think sooner or later you will have somehow a call, I call it, a wake up. Can be a depth that you would like to go more in depth within yourself. And I think spending time with your own mind is the biggest task you have in this life. Get to know your own mind. These days we like to get people or to know people better. We update our phones constantly, but we forget to update our minds. And I think, as you said before, I think it's also very important that we need to explain. These days I have more work explaining what is mindfulness is not than what it is.
Right. Well, maybe that's something you could break down for us, because I think, there's mindfulness, there's meditation. These are the buzzwords that I think are thrown around a lot. But what is mindfulness? How does meditation relate to mindfulness? And then just general wellness, because I think that's probably the third buzzword you hear a lot as well. So maybe you could break down what those three are.
Of course, yes. Mindfulness is, for me, being aware. For example, I'm talking to you, but I'm aware that I'm talking to you. You have my full attention, right? So I'm making this awareness, or I pay attention on purpose almost. I make that choice to be here present with you, Shia. So that's for me mindfulness. Mindfulness is, I have this mantra that I use a lot, and I will share it with you and with everyone. And it helps me a lot during the day, where I sometimes say to myself, I'm here now. This is the present moment. So when you wander off, what the mind does anyway, I use this mantra. I'm here now. This is the present time. Right? So this is mindfulness, paying attention on purpose. Right.
And I think a lot of the parents out there, I think they can relate both in the relationships with their friends, their family members, but also with their children. Things can get quite busy, and that it's hard to be mindful. It's a practice, isn't it?
It's I wouldn't say it's an easy ride. It's hard work, right? Meditation would be, you can have formal meditation or informal meditation. Formal meditation would be sitting with, for example, a technique which I will share a little bit later, single breath meditation or single pointed concentration or open awareness. There are a few other meditation forms you can use. So meditation is really the practice almost, the how you get trained really properly, right? Where mindfulness would be the result almost, or the extension of the meditation, right? But those two are very close to each other, right? For example, I know people who are, my grandmother used to iron a lot, right? So that's also a form of meditation, you know. It's a movement, a very simple movement, repetitive. That's really meditation. You know, looking at the fireplace, you will notice that you will come probably in this meditative state of mind, you know, because there is a repetition. So that's a little bit meditation. And then wellness. For me, wellness is, you know, an active pursuit of activities. Can be anything. Can be walking, but again, that you choose with consciousness almost, yeah. You know, but it's activities that leads to a holistic health, well-being. That's how I would describe wellness. You know, for some people can be walking, yoga, even Zumba, you know, doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I have we've probably seen more of it than ever. There's a lot of marketing of wellness activities and meditation. There's apps out there. There's just so many different things. Because I think it's easy to dip in and dip out. And I know you mentioned habits, or practice, the repetition being quite important. But what would you recommend if somebody is very serious about getting into the benefits, which sometimes can take a while to get there? But what would you say are some of the key ingredients to establish that mindful and meditation, the whole general wellness, to find that peace that everybody's looking for?
Well, that's a very interesting question, you know. First of all, there needs to be intention, right? And if you feel the eagerness or the intention, you know, or you're like, you heard something and you say, oh, this guy might help me, you know. If you know that we have 70,000 thoughts a day, right? It's not surprisingly that you get carried away by thoughts, and that's okay, as long as you're aware of this.
Right.
Yeah. So cultivating that mind, you know, I think that's very important. And where can you start? I think it's very important because, as you say, these days there's so much out there, right? So it's almost, before you want to clear your own mud in the mind.
Yes.
At first, you need to clear the mud that's all there, because these days you can even give mindful bird to somebody, or there is mindful mayonnaise on the market, right? So it's a little bit a tricky one. I think it's important that you look for someone or an institution that goes back to the source.
And the source is, when you say source, what does that mean?
The teachings of Buddha.
Okay. Yeah.
So, when Buddha was enlightened, he was starting sharing his practices, and they are very simple, but at the same time very complicated. Right. So I think, again, the intention of that person or institution is very important, and references, as I shared with you my course.
Yes, thank you.
And you're welcome. Yeah. And it's something like, try it out for yourself and see what happens, right?
Right.
I will not guarantee that you get to have a peace of mind almost.
Yes.
However, during my own embodiment and experiences, I shared my own practices, and that's how I put that intention towards other people. And in the past or in the present, it has shown that people are really, finding some peace of mind.
Yes. Yeah. And if you remember, I actually took your course once, and then I actually stopped it because it was just a time that I needed to shift gears. And I remember coming to you saying, should I start it again? You said, yes, start it again. And the second time that I went through it, it was that intention, right? It's that, it's having that commitment, I should say. And that's where the benefits really shined. So
Yeah, and the good thing is you can always start all over again, you know.
yes, yeah.
And that's the same with meditation, right? You will always breathing, you know.
Right.
There's no need to anticipate the breath.
Right.
There's always that breath and another breath and another breath is coming.
Yeah.
So there's no need to anticipate, but I think it's very important to choose your guidance or your coaches very wisely and do your research, you know, and
Right.
talk to people, you know,
Right.
get some references, or how was it for you? What did you notice? You know, that's how people come towards my courses. You know, it's most of the time it's this experience, and they want to share it with other people and well-being of others.
Right.
And that's how it gets expanded.
Right. Well, I want to kind of move in towards the benefits, because yeah, there's so many, but I think it's interesting, you know, to kind of break it down, but also to talk about children, because actually when I first met you, I met you in a different capacity. It wasn't about me and my journey. Actually, it was with my daughter, and you know, looking at anxiety and plugging in some tools. And within 1 hour of meeting you, we brought home some tools that we still use, which is, yeah, it's phenomenal. So I know you do practice with a lot of children, and I assume that it's just it's a different concept, you know, like what, but still the same. What would you say are the benefits of you know, for children, mindfulness and meditation, and how do you get a child started down that path?
Well, actually, that's always big, you know, my dream, you know. I will explain it a little bit. You know, I was in my 30s and going through this journey of mine, and I said to myself, what if I would have known this when I was a little boy? You know, I think my life would be completely different, you know. Not my life maybe, but the way how I interfere or relate with things. And I think being a child these days is very tough, you know.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of stimulus coming into to the mind of that child. And if you see the size of the mind didn't change, right? We all have the same size, more or less, right? So there's much more information to process.
Yeah.
And I think children, you know, these days look at Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever it calls it, right?
Yes.
It's a good tool to communicate, right? But the mind almost gets TikTok, right? And I think as a child, there's a lot of pressure almost, you know, like we have this, we humans, we created this, right?
Right.
Nobody says that you need to look like this or this. We created just ourselves. So I think children could be benefits as, you know, I see it as a prevention, you know, almost. Not as a cure, where we see at mindfulness courses
right.
that it would be a cure almost, but where a child could be preventing, you know, make themselves worthy, you know, self-worthy, those thoughts, you know, like, it's okay how I am, you know, it's all good.
Right.
There's nothing to prove, something like that.
Right.
So I think children, if we could, which I try to share, if we could, for example, thoughts. In children, I call this, in my classes, I call this, they are going to meet Quigley. It's a little animal, right? And I call it Quigley because it's always quibbing, right? So with the children, we do a practice where we notice Quigley. And I ask them, when did you notice Quigley? And then they say, oh, Quigley came along. And then I teach them what they need to do when they notice Quigley.
And Quigley is essentially the thoughts, like the thoughts that they.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like this little animal, blah 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 blah, like this.
Yes.
So that's why we call it Quigley, no? It's always.
I guess we all have little Quibleys, don't we? It's just.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And it's important to get to know your Quigley.
Yeah.
And not to push it away. You know, it's your friend, you know, because also Quigley is inviting you or informing you at times where you need to look something up, right?
Mm,
Or you need to record something. So it's about knowing Quigley, becoming friends with him or her, and being aware. And when Quigley is getting too loud, for example,
mm,
directing your attention towards your silent place, your safe haven almost,
right.
which is the breath.
So yeah, so maybe you could talk a little bit about the breath. I mean, we hear about it. I do find that the kids that are getting trained in the breath, and a lot of the schools are really bringing this in as well, which is impressive. Um, but just the power of the breath. And I don't know if you have a tool or two that you want to share that
Of
works
course.
quite well with kids specifically, also adults, but kids.
Yeah. Well, the breath is one of the most important life forces we have. You know, if we stop breathing, we're finished. It's done. You
Yeah.
know, and also just to give you you know, an information. Did you know when people die, they will their last breath would be the out breath,
Oh, no.
not the in breath.
Okay. Interesting. Ah,
That's something that I wrote the other day. So, and the children when they get born is the in breath that comes in.
okay. Ah,
So for children, when you put your children to bed, for example, and they wake up in the morning, don't wake them up right away. Just noticing how they're breathing, right? So you will notice that there is a difference daily. You know, the pace of the breath, the sound of the breath, and
mm,
maybe then you can understand when your child is a little bit, the dinosaur is a little bit moving,
mm,
because the breath is being maybe very intense in the morning,
mm.
right? So just by observing your breath of your child, you can know in which kind of weather forecast your child has.
Oh, wow. Okay.
For example, when you're sitting at the table and you would have sort of a discussion going on, you know, like why you didn't put your clothes away and stuff like that. And, you know, with children, it's a little bit like this, right?
Mm,
Noticing how they're breathing. You know, when you notice how they breathe, it's almost like you have this information on forehand,
huh.
so you
Okay.
can adapt your behavior.
Ah, interesting.
So, so that's one. Second, if you're a mom or a dad and you know, you're driving them to school and you're stopping at a red light, thankful for the red light. You can make an exercise in the car. You know, you can put your hands on your stomach and just noticing the in-breath and the out-breath, the rising and falling.
So
And
you
when the
say
green light,
red light as a reminder to just to breathe.
correct.
Mm,
So every time when I'm in my car and I have a red light, I make the connection to my belly breathing,
mm,
noticing the rising and falling. With a child, can put a hand on the belly
mm,
and just counts the breath. 1, 2, 3. You make almost a little game out of it, right?
mm.
Like how many breaths you counted, something like this.
Right.
And then the green light pops and you continue your journey.
Ah, so it's essentially a reminder to stop and
Yes,
be mindful, essentially.
correct, correct. And you will notice the more you're going to do this, you know, I notice this with my own children that I teach. Sometimes the child is on the back seat and the mom is driving the car and the mom forgot about the breathing exercise.
Mm,
The child will say, Mommy, it's time to count my breaths. So you're helping each other
yeah.
and
Yeah.
you make a connection. And that's very beautiful, you know.
Yeah. So I guess that, yeah,
Or
go ahead. Go ahead. Don't want to stop you
I
there.
can give you another way, because once I'm going,
Yeah. I think
I'm
the
go-
tools are fantastic. I think all the parents will definitely.
So for example, when you get all ready for school or for your day to go out, it doesn't matter. Before you put your key in the door and to go outside, just stop, take that moment, and just check in within yourselves, you know. How is your weather today?
Mm,
Oh, it's cloudy. Oh, it's sunny. It's raining. Just that check in, check out.
mm,
You can do that even at a table, at a dinner table, you know. Just, you know, how is your weather today, you know? Instead of saying, oh, just that or that girlfriend or that boyfriend was not nice to me. Just not going to the negativity, but just checking in with your child, you know. How is your weather today?
mm,
And as a mom or a dad, you are aware how you need to behave towards the child and how more compassion or love you can share. Yes or
mm,
no, you know, because
mm.
we're all humans. We're not always 100%.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Got to be forgiving on that.
Yeah.
Where does gratitude come in on the whole practice?
Well, mindfulness cannot be without gratitude and compassion.
Mm,
I always say that mindfulness is like a bird, you know, and a bird has two wings. One is the awareness, concentration, but I never saw a bird flying with one wing.
right.
So the other wing is equally important, and that's gratitude, compassion, you know, unconditional love,
Mm,
you know, and those two wings need to be at the same pace. Otherwise, it's very difficult to be mindful.
mm, mm. Excellent.
And gratitude, sorry, I give you an exercise for that one.
Okay.
I think gratitude is a very beautiful thing, you know, if you have, you know, if you have like negative thoughts or it's not going well, right? Then I would invite you just to name 10 things. You have 10 fingers, right? To be grateful for. You know, one already, that you're breathing.
Mm,
It's not obvious that you're breathing. Two, that you have food and shelter. You know, that's something like that. But small things,
right.
being able to take a shower, being able to hear, to see,
Mm,
you know, something like that. So I think gratitude practices are very powerful, you know.
mm.
And
Yeah.
the child can do that also, right?
Yeah. It's nice to do together. Yeah.
Yeah, like, where are you grateful for today? You know, 5 things. And
Right.
you do it. What about you? What about you? They're checking in again, checking out, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm grateful that I can sleep with my teddy, you know.
Yeah.
Something like that, you know, make
Yeah.
that connection.
Yeah. Definitely. So in terms of wellness programs that are, I guess we would call them wellness programs, but
Yes.
what kind of things what kind of things do you do? I know what I've done with you and what Tatum, my daughter, has done, but can you maybe break down what kind of programs that you do with families and individuals?
So I do a few things. Well, first of all, I try to practice myself a lot, because it's by my own practice that I can share even more.
Mm,
Self, I'm having, I create space every day for myself.
mm,
And I think that's also, as a parent, it's very important. Even if it's 5-10 minutes, but creating that own space is very important,
right.
to gain your batteries somehow, right? Because otherwise you have a tendency to drag away all the time. On one side, I'm offering mindfulness classes, you know.
Mm,
We have the 8-week traditional MBSR program, which is for adults.
Mm.
which I do online these days as well. So I have the course that you took was a course that you can do on your own pace,
Mm.
where I would check in with you every week,
Yes.
right? And I would send you the meditations over.
Right.
So that's on one side. So it's like becoming your own therapist.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
However, I would be there to guide you.
Right. Right.
So we would regularly check in, how are you doing? Is there anything that you would like to discuss? And then I give you the material for week 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes. Yeah.
And as you notice, now and then I'm checking in within yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Then I have a live online 8-week course
Okay.
where we would gather up with other people in a Zoom meeting or something like that. And we do that course, but then almost in a group session.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
So on other side. Then for children, I have the 8-week course as well, where the parent and the daughter or son are following the 8-week.
Mm.
So on one side, the parent would get the syllabus or the downloads or for the parent, and on the other side, the child. But they are walking the same path almost.
Ah.
For example, in
And
week.
out of curiosity, what age children do you typically work with in that program?
Right. In my experience, I work with children from 6 till 12.
Okay.
However, if you have younger children, I would encourage you to take an 8-week course yourself.
Mm.
And then you will notice your own embodiment would change.
Mm.
And your little girl or boy would notice that you would sit down in the morning and meditate. And I have seen cases where moms are sitting to meditate and the child is coming along and just put the head on the lap of the mom while she's meditating. And you're creating this new habit, right? And then the child starts to wonder, what is mommy doing?
Mm.
Right? And then mommy can explain, I'm just sitting with my thoughts or in the silence or watching my breath. Let's do this together somehow, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the younger you can start or you can trigger, the better it would be for the child.
Right. Yeah. Tools that last forever, really. Well, I know that we have a very special session with you that we're going to do live. The way I'm going to do it is I do want to ask if there's any questions, because what we'll do is we'll end with the session. So I want to just finish off our chat here with Bear, and then we'll move into the session that individuals and you can do it live. You can also do it after the video ends later in the day as well. So do we have any questions about the things that we've chatted about the programs that Bear offers? Bear, I know that you had a couple of deals that you were going to offer to Little Steps as well, which we'll make sure and include in the description. We'll also include towards the end of the session as well. You'll see that on the live video at the end. But I know that you're offering a discount to the 8-week program, as well as there's a parenting course that you're going to be looking at delivering this summer, which would be quite interesting. That's July or August?
Right, correct. So I was, when I was preparing this chat, and so I want to give something back, right? I think it's very important to give something back. So on one side, the Become Your Own Therapist course, there I would be offering a discount for you. And on the other side, if there would be interest, then I would create a specific personalized course for your audience. It means by parents and children. And if there would be enough interest, that would be July, August, something like that.
You've got some flexibility there, so we'll
yes,
we'll pop up the
and that would be a live session, right? That would be gathering up with a lot of other people, sending out the course and having an interaction, and and just really go specific, in what to do if my child doesn't want to show up for school, for example.
Right.
something
Excellent.
like that.
Excellent. So we'll put more information about that. Do we have any other questions before we move to the live session? I'm just going to check in over here
Yeah.
to see if we've got any questions coming in. We've gotten a note that it was very thorough. Thank you. So that's great. I just had one question
Right.
before we move into it. Um, what kind of changes or things have you noticed with this year, this wild year of 2020? That families and humans and jobs and
Mhm.
schools and everything's shifted in the world. But what kind of things have you noticed? Just about the general world and humans.
Yeah. When you ask this question, I'm noticing I'm getting goosebumps. And the reason probably is because how sad it is, for the people who lost their lives. And that's very tragic,
Mm,
There's no point at all, something like that. But at the same time, it reminds me when I was doing in retreat. And I feel that the world is being going on retreat.
mm,
And I don't know how it is in your country, at the moment, but in Belgium, we are slightly start to go open again, right? So as from next week, we're allowed to travel a little bit more. The yoga studios are open again. Life is going back.
mm,
But I tell you something, Shia. I don't know if you notice, but if the humans stop speaking, nature talks.
mm. See, now you got
And
me having goosebumps. All right.
you know, when everything becomes quiet and we're slowing down, we start to notice things and start to wonder again when we're a little child.
Mm,
Like you didn't notice that the bird was knocking on your door almost, right?
mm,
So even though it's been a challenging time, and my sister has two children, for example, and she need to work at home and two children, homeschooling. Wow.
mm,
It's almost like they've been showing us our true self,
mm.
like stuff that thing, hesitation, frustration, everything. All the emotion came up, right? And that's how it come with the retreat. I was sad, I was happy, I was frustrated, I was angry. There were all the emotions were there.
Right.
And I think that by becoming still in the beginning, when everything was closing down, I heard people saying, "Oh, it's so terrible, and I cannot do this." And after a while, the same people would say to me, "Actually, it's not so bad.
Mm,
You know, I'm very happy. I can get up whenever I want, more or less. I can stay in my pajamas. Nobody's seeing me. Nobody's gonna call me anyway
yeah.
because nobody's gonna come and see me because they can't."
Yeah.
So there was a moment of surrendering
Yes. Yeah.
to what is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hope that by shaking up the world, by being in silence,
Mm,
that we all become more compassionful towards each other.
yeah.
Because in the end, we're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
We all want the same. We all want to be happy. And I hope that we can, maintain a little bit of that silence.
Mm,
You know, when I was a little boy, we didn't always have these things, Instagram, Facebook, and all these things. We didn't. But one day I went to walk with my school, and my teacher would say in the middle of the field, she would say, "Can you hear this?" And I would say to her, "What do you mean?" And she said to me, "This is a sound of silence,"
mm,
right? And when you were a little boy, you were maybe fish, getting fishes or climbing in trees and stuff like that. And that was an amazing time, right?
Magic.
So I hope that this time has shown us that being within ourselves and with our true nature is actually a great time to be with,
Yes. Yeah. I like that. I will say
Yeah.
my kids just went back to school about a week ago, and I have noticed, well, it was that alarm clock. I didn't have an alarm clock set for 4 or 5 months, and now that alarm clock goes, and your body just kind of, and
Yeah.
that was such a nice time to just wake up when the sun came up or when you were ready to wake up, and yeah, that was pretty special. It's not
Yeah.
something you're gonna have forever, but we'll try to take what we learned from it and
Yes.
apply it
Well,
somehow.
probably it will be the only time that you will notice this, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and actually be
And
grateful for it. That's true.
yeah, and people are starting cleaning their houses,
Yeah.
going gardening, back to basics,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Food, shelter, and that's it,
Yeah. Definitely seen that.
So we went back to basics,
Yeah.
we start doing things that we normally never do.
That's right. Yeah, and also just
Right.
connecting with people more. I think that's all we have at the end of the day. That's what we had. It was a good teaching. I think there's a lot of things
Yeah.
that people I've certainly taken
Yeah.
away, but a lot of people have taken away from all this. So
Yeah, and you know what, Shia? If something lasts for 3 months
mm,
and you've been doing the practice for 3 months,
mm,
it will stay for your life.
mm, good.
So you have been giving a great opportunity to cultivate this.
Yeah, excellent. Well, let's get started on the session here. What I'm going to
Yes.
do is I'm going to
Mhm.
say goodbye to everybody. Bear, I'm going to switch it over to you, and when you're finished with it, it'll end. The live video will end. So I'll connect with
Right.
you after on WhatsApp. So thank you so
Great.
much, and everyone enjoy this session with Bear, and see you next time.
Great.
Over to you.
Thank you, Shia. Thank you. Well, I was reflecting a little bit this morning what I would like to share with you. And I noticed during my practices that short practices are most of the time the most powerful ones. So I will guide you with a sort of 3 to 4 minutes short checking in meditation session. Um, I imagine this is recorded anyway, so you can also listen to it back if you need it. And just see what happens, Uh, uh, spend some time with your own mind, notice, and just being witness. So if you're okay, you can come and sit comfortably. So just relaxing. Maybe if you're sitting on a chair or you're lying in your bed, whatever is more comfortable for you. Maybe you can just put your things away, switch off everything. And what I would like you to do is just to scan through your body. And if you feel any form of tightness or consciously relax them. And maybe you're feeling your feet touching the ground, or if you're lying on your bed, you're noticing that you're lying on your bed. The most important is that you're comfortable. And if you're okay, you can close your eyes. But if you are more comfortable opening them, then please go ahead. You can gaze at a point in front of you. You don't have to do anything. And what I would like you to do is to go with your awareness, as you would have a torch of awareness, you going to your thoughts in this moment. Just noticing your own thoughts as you would sit on the side of the river, being a witness of your own thoughts in this moment. There's no need to change those thoughts or try to engage with them. You're just noticing. Shifting your awareness to your emotions. Any emotion that you can notice in this moment. Maybe you feel excitement or happiness. And also there, I would invite you just to be a witness of your own emotions in this moment, as you would have that torch of awareness. There's no need to do anything. Shifting your awareness to your body, noticing what your body is telling you. Maybe you feel some tightness or your shoulders or lower back. And also there, I would invite you just to being a witness of your own body in this moment. There's no need to change anything. Shifting the awareness towards the breath, and maybe you feel the breath more present towards the nose, the nostrils. Just noticing how the nostrils getting touched by your in-breath and out-breath. Or maybe you feel the breath more present towards the chest, noticing how the chest is going up and down. But what I would like you to do is to go with your awareness, or that torch of awareness, towards the belly, the abdomen. And maybe you're noticing that your belly is rising and falling. Simply being aware by breath coming in and breath going out. And if you get distracted by external sounds or internal emotions, guiding your mind back towards the abdomen, towards the breath, without forcing or straining, simply being aware of breath coming in and breath going out. And if the mind starts to wander, which will be or happens, just noticing the wandering. Do not engage with those external sounds or thoughts, guiding your mind back to the passage of the breath without forcing or straining. Simply being aware of breath coming in and breath going out. Expanding your awareness that you're sitting. Maybe you're getting familiar with temperature of the room. Maybe you're picking up some sounds. Noticing. expanding in awareness with your breathing up front. Simply being aware of breath coming in and breath going out. And whenever you're ready, you may open your eyes. Namaste.